Welcome to the show. Robbie Rob is back.
Robbie Rob.
Pauly B is here.
Benny
Banks is here.
Triple fisting it.
Triple fisting.
Cheers.
Let me get some of this mic. Why you still?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. So, from recording into a small, tiny office on one cell phone with no mics. With
So
these
recording on a one tiny apartment with 3 mics.
with 5 mics. This is where we're at now. This is we're gonna go over. So we were fortunate enough to be invited to the UFC weigh-ins and press conference. The press conference was for UFC 232, John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. Unfortunately, Robbie Rob wasn't able to be there because he has certain feelings towards Gustafsson. But we did get to meet a couple of the fighters and speak to a couple of the media at the weigh-ins and press conference.
Yes.
Shout out to Ariel Helwani. Shout out to the bad guy.
Ariel Helwani.
Shout out to Stylebender, by the way. He just made me a huge fan.
John Jones.
By the way,
John Jones.
I just want Matt Serra is the nicest guy in the world. I just want to put that on record. Pauly B had left, so me and my wife, and my brother, were going to take a different train line, and Pauly went a different direction. He was coming back to Queens. We met Matt Serra. I was sad that you weren't with us.
Yeah.
But Matt Serra is the nicest human being
Oh shit.
on this earth. He literally
Yeah.
was legit.
Good
He
shit.
was literally like he would let me film a segment with him.
Yeah. He was ready. He was ready.
But I was just like too drunk. I
He
didn't.
was ready.
We were buzzed.
We were twisted. We had.
And he took photos with Benny and myself, and he took a photo with my wife, and we had a conversation with him. But he gave us time.
Yeah.
And
He
you
did.
think a guy that is in the Hall of Fame and he's done so much in MMA, you think he's gonna just like blow you off? So,
Dude.
I honestly was upset that you weren't able to meet Matt Serra.
Nicest
I
guy
want you to.
ever.
I think that you would really like Matt Serra.
Would have been best friends.
Such a nice guy.
I never met Matt Serra. I love Matt Serra.
Right, he's
I mean,
amazing.
he's just.
I honestly, the guy, when I was like, I recognized him. I was like, oh shit, Matt Serra in the street. And I asked him, you know, I'm a big fan. We do a podcast. You know, I've seen UFC Unfiltered a couple times, and I've heard it
With Jim Norton.
with Jim Norton.
You know what's the funny thing about?
And he was willing to talk to us, and I asked him, can I ask you 2 questions and film it? And he was like, sure, no problem. So that's how legit Matt Serra is.
Not only that, bro, but his biceps are fucking sick.
Dude, he's still jacked.
He's a little dude. And I did not believe you that he destroyed GSP.
So,
I
my
refused to believe because I've
called
seen
GSP.
No, but this is the thing.
Right.
I've seen GSP live
In person.
I've seen GSP in person. GSP is like
Huge.
Me
Me together like this.
he's bigger. Like he's wider than me, you.
And
He's
Rick.
like me, you, and half of Rick together. That's how wide he is.
And this was at 185 because Benny saw him at the weigh-ins last
I
year.
saw him at the Williams last year.
when he was gonna fight Bisbee.
Bisbee.
Yeah,
He was
And
way
she-
bigger than
Bisping
Bisbee.
may be the only fighter I hate more than Gustafsson.
Well,
Dude.
the thing was.
But let me tell you something. This dude he's so wide and big. And when I met this guy,
Matt Serra.
Matt Serra,
He wouldn't
Matt
believe
Serra,
it. Matt
I was
Serra
like,
beat
this is
GSP,
impossible.
Bro. He was.
Matt
he
Serra
became the middleweight champion.
Matt Serra's he's smaller than me, tiny, but he's a brolic dude. So he's like a fucking little fucking brolic ass.
Dude, you
dude.
saw that viral video of him in Vegas with a drunk patron who was
That's Matt Serra.
who was
He saw the viral video, but he didn't know.
the drunk guy who was messing
Yeah.
with the server, and he just pretty much
Matt
took him
Serra is
down.
the first
Yeah.
American to have
Control
a
the
black
funniest-
belt jiu-jitsu.
Dude,
Yeah.
he
In
is.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
If he
Really?
Yeah.
he took
First
down
American.
Before BJ, Pat?
Yeah, Matt Serra.
Okay.
First American, and he got it from Renzo Gracie.
Well,
Dude, he took down
and dude,
GSP.
and
he got
to
all
be
my
a
respect.
Henzo Gracie black belt.
Yeah, that's
That's just-
tough,
like,
dude.
I've
That's
met Renzo
tough.
a couple times. Another nice guy, humble as pie. So we're talking about Serra in the 185
Don't get into a
division.
New York bar fight.
Yeah,
with
that's
Enzo.
yeah. He'll break your arm. He'll break your arm.
Dude, you know what the funniest thing about you meeting Serra and he couldn't come off as a nicer guy, but I guarantee you, as he's meeting you, he's like, at some point in his mind, he's like, I could use that shirt to choke you out if I wanted to.
Probably.
Because he said it multiple times on
On the Unfiltered podcast,
But-
he's like, when I see a dude
You
with
know-
a bubble jacket, I'm like,
You know what threw Serra
that's
off?
so...
I'll tell you right now. So I told my wife, because I'm constantly in Long Island and I see the schools. So when we were there, honey, this is the guy. It's his school that we drive by. And then my wife starts talking to Serra, and Serra immediately is just like, yeah, is this one, bro? That's why I say he's the nicest guy you ever
Yeah, he
Right.
waited there. He was like, he was even like
He was
saying
waiting for
names in
Weidman,
Long
actually.
Island, and
He was waiting
like,
for Weidman.
he was like,
This
is
is-
this the school? Is this the police? Is this?
Friday. This was
Oh.
Friday. He was
Yeah.
waiting for Weidman to come out of the weigh-ins.
I was,
Yeah, he
I
was
was in the
waiting.
parking lot that his school was in once because I went to
The one in Long Island?
the comedy club over there, and I went to
Yeah.
go see Dan Soder.
Yeah.
Dan Soder's
Yeah.
one of my favorite comedians. So
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta see him, and then I was like, oh shit, that's where Serra Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
is.
Serra Jiu-Jitsu.
You know, I'm like, man.
So, and then after
He's fucking
we
awesome.
meet Serra, I turn the corner and just casually walking out. It's I forgot the other fighter's name, but I know behind him is Adesanya, Stylebender, just walking out casually.
Yeah.
I said, Stylebender, can I stop you? Can I talk to you?
Of course you did.
That
Of
course.
honestly,
He blew him for a few seconds.
Can I get
He
a
blew-
picture, Rick?
He
it
blew him
wasn't.
for a few
I
seconds.
didn't get. I actually.
You did get a picture with him. I saw
I
it.
did get a picture,
I
but
did,
I
yeah.
didn't ask him for a picture. I just wanted
You
to
just
say
want to
hello to
grab
him.
him a little bit.
No, I went to say hello to him.
You want on your knees?
I went to say hello to him.
Did he make a meme of it?
I told him I have a podcast, and in my podcast I said you and Brunson would be performance of the night, and he would
Yeah,
be
he
like,
did. He did.
he literally said,
I would be offended if you said that to him. If I was Stylebender.
Yeah.
Why?
no, but you know what Stylebender said
I
after?
would be-
I would be
Listen,
offended.
I would be
listen,
offended.
This is
listen.
Stylebender's answer: performance of a lifetime, because I'm gonna make my name in this stage.
Yeah, he did say
He
that.
literally legit turned to me and said,
100%. Yeah.
he was like, oh, I'm excited about that, but you know what?
I took the picture.
He, in his mind, was like, this is where I'm going to make my moment.
Yeah, because while he was telling him, this
Fight
is
of
gonna
the
be
night
fight of the
performance.
night performance, and Stylebender turned, he was like, nah, fight of the
Casual
night.
as- casual as fuck,
serious.
You
And
know
that's
what?
the
Like he
He's
was
like, this is-
100% serious.
This
He was
is
like,
this is where I'm going to
this
make
is
my
fight of
name.
a
That's what he
lifetime.
was telling me.
And that's the thing.
You
and
guys. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead. No,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no, no.
no, hold on.
Go ahead,
Hold on,
finish.
finish
Finish
Wow,
it.
I haven't said
This is
anything
the
all
thing.
day.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Finish your thought. Finish it. Finish it. Say it.
No, it's amazing.
Say it
that
with your chest.
now that like there's more fighters that are they're showmen, not just fighters, you know. And then I like his style, the way he carries himself in the ring and outside the ring. He knows how to sell the fights, so it's exciting to have.
But
someone
at that
like
point,
him.
he's not selling the fight. He's just he literally legit told me, this is going to make my career. It was because he was like, yeah, fight of the night. But he was like, nah. You're going to see
No,
something
he told
special.
him. He told him.
This is going to make my career.
Yeah.
well, of course he has to say that.
Look.
No.
No,
He's
no,
like
no,
all
no,
those
no,
little
no.
things they know.
If you look at, first of all, a lot of fighters say things. I met tons of fighters.
It wasn't like.
It wasn't like,
cliche,
he was just he looked at me in the eye and he's like, this is the moment that people are going to know my name.
He didn't say that,
Off-
but he said.
But
he,
you could, off the
like,
statement,
Off
yeah.
camera, nobody around.
Nobody
just
around.
You and him.
Just-
But
here-
just
here's
you
the-
and him. That's
No.
some. That's some
He's-
other
that-
level. That's some other
confidence.
level
And,
confidence.
and let me
shit.
explain
yeah.
something. First of all, Stylebender's a tall, lanky,
Tall
muscular guy.
motherfucker.
His hand is the size of my entire. I have a huge head. So if
He
in the
does
picture,
have a
if
huge
you
head.
look,
grab your
Yeah,
whole
no,
head. They're like
you
how-
can look at my
Those
hand, and it's
headphones
the
are
size of
screaming
my.
right now. They're
Yeah,
like,
look at they're but if you look at the photo, when
100%.
his arm is around my neck and his hand is next to my head, his hand is as big as my
I saw
head.
your eyes sparkle like in the photo.
There's another photo. I want to put it up.
Star.
This
Is it
is
star? Yeah.
So it's Benny took the photo and Benny was with my wife And the first photo, I'm talking to him and I'm like, old fanboy, and I
He's
turn
super fanboy.
in the photo because it's live.
no,
Basically blowing.
No, fuckboy.
Basically blowing.
Not
But-
fanboy, it's fuckboy.
Look,
Again, for a young guy like that, undefeated, and he was and for him to actually like, he didn't know who I was, so and he
Of course
took
he
the
doesn't know
time.
who you are.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but you don't know. I honestly, we went to the press conference not as fans. We went there as we have a podcast, and we
Yeah.
made friends with another podcast from Ireland, which is
Yes.
called Energize, the show.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good, but I'm also a fight fan. No matter what, if DC walked into that door, all these guys,
Yeah, but this is what we're
all
talking-
these fucking
but we're
no,
talking-
no,
we're
all
talking-
these fucking guys right now
DC is
would have
my
a ton
boy.
of fucking questions to speak to him.
But
Benny
DC is
had a-
one of my best friends.
Benny had a personal experience with DC, so it's just
DC is one of my best
I don't know
I'd
if you
probably
call-
have the questions that he never gets out of all.
it would be wrestling.
that's because
questions,
you're a
but-
fucking wrestling
guy.
Dude.
You're
But
fucking
Daniel
wrestling.
Cormier, besides what he does, he's
You wanna
he's the
hear-
GOAT. He's one of the
Yo.
GOATs.
Like, obviously, I remember DC from when he wrestled at Oklahoma State, but like when I was 2001, right
Yeah.
after the World Trade Center happened,
Damn,
I
that's
was set to go see the World Championships at MSG. They had to postpone it, and then they moved it out of MSG. They moved it out of the States. So the World Championships of Wrestling got moved to another country completely, and then they were like, all right, we'll try again in 2003. Daniel Cormier was a college senior in 2001. And then when I got to see the World Championships live at MSG, Daniel Cormier was the world team member, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Damn.
Like I was just like,
The reason why
when
Rob,
I found out that he was gonna do MMA, dude, I remember when he was Cain Velasquez's coach,
just his
and
training partner,
and
wrestling.
nobody even knew who he was, and I just saw him in the corner, and I was like, Daniel Cormier.
You're right.
So
Then
another
I found out-
But
Yeah.
Rob is a fucking.
he's a wrestler.
Rob used to
knows
wrestle
his
in high
wrestling.
school.
He knows his wrestling.
Rob used to wrestle in high school. Rob he follows collegiate wrestling, college, fucking
Senior level,
world
level, yeah,
everything.
everything.
So
Rob's
Rob,
gonna appreciate the
Rob
next
knows
story.
his fucking wrestling.
So while we were at the press conference,
So no,
Hold on,
back
hold
to
on.
Finish that one, finish that
really,
one.
really back to
really quick.
back to Israel Adesanya. Like, you guys know me. You guys know me and who I root for.
Yeah.
I'll if
How do you
it's
feel about the kid?
if it's not one of my favorite fighters, which all my favorite fighters are American
American guys.
wrestlers, American wrestlers.
dudes.
These,
Stop Bender's not one of them. How do you feel
he's
about
not. He's not. But I was like, when
Stop
this
Bender's
fight got
not a
announced,
world
I was like, all right,
it? Real
who
test,
am I
right?
who am I rooting for in this fight? Derek Brunson, American. Got a pretty solid,
Decent wrestling
decent
background,
wrestling background. But you would think I would.
How'd you feel
I would
about
be like,
Steinberg?
Brunson. But then I saw Adesanya on Ariel's podcast, and just I don't know, something about him.
He's got that star
in the
quality.
embeddeds, he's hanging out, having fun with the NYPD.
Yeah.
They're putting their hat on him. He's like, let me take out my Afro pick first.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this guy's got a personality. He's gonna
Right.
be a star. He's the next star of the middleweight division.
Yeah.
Especially if they create a 175 division
Yeah.
and Whitaker and Gastelum go down.
So,
But then no.
Adesanya will
So I
grow
see-
into that
hold on.
The thing is that
185 division.
oh my
Alright,
God,
I
we're
see-
jumping subject.
So I see a
Sorry,
similar
yeah.
pattern how Conor McGregor came up, right? There's this fighter where they're great at stand-up, but that wrestling, that
Well-
ground game is not there.
No.
Adesanya's a kickboxer.
Yeah.
His record is amazing in kickboxing. Until you run into the guy, the Khabib of his weight class, and actually
185.
take you down, you're not gonna we don't. But we see the potential. There's a lot of potential. The way he carries himself outside the ring, the way he sells the fight,
So,
and how he fights.
Here's my
It's
counter.
exciting.
Wait.
Until someone
Let-
takes
let
you
me just
down.
read
I
it.
something to say
I
about
give you
that.
the counter.
hated Conor McGregor when he
Re-
fought Mendez. When he fought Mendez, I hated Conor McGregor.
But
Right, 'cause
what
you
happened
kept- but he
afterwards?
was for
He's
the
just
rest-
a guy
wait,
that
wait,
knocks
he
dudes
had-
out.
Let him finish.
But
let
he
him finish.
he had that personality that just transcended how I usually root for fighters, and it's like I saw Conor McGregor as a fighter that's gonna get other fighters paid,
Yeah.
like they should be paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if people could follow what he does but not do it in a cheesy way.
Yeah.
Right.
Kobe Covington.
Right.
Kobe Covington.
Kobe
hold
Covington
on.
is doing it
So
in the
let me-
easier.
Kobe
No
Covington
way.
is doing Chael Sonnen, but on a full on troll level. He's the
So,
embodiment of
This
an
is where I'm
internet
at
troll.
in this point, right? So, Conor McGregor, right? Regardless of how you felt about him, he was someone you needed to watch, and he was gonna elevate the game, no matter how you felt.
Right.
I knew he mentioned the Mendes fight. That's where he really got tested in that fight
Yeah, he
because
did.
he was facing a really good wrestler at that point. And then you know what made me a huge fan of McGregor? When he got choked out by Diaz at the post-fight press
And
conference.
he came back.
He sat
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
First of all, in the post-fight press conference, he said, "This is part of the fight game.
Right.
You're gonna lose." The dude was ready to lose. He
Right.
knew, and I think Israel Stylebender is in that same point. He knows. It's gonna be a while before he runs into a guy that's gonna pin him down. Because at that weight class, they're mostly strikers, and they've got some wrestling, some jiu-jitsu, but just the way his motion, the way he creates the offense, his style of hitting, it was knees that did Brunson in. It was
Yeah,
those.
it was.
It was
It
those
was.
fatal knees.
He has a stellar kickboxing resume.
And
That's
McGregor's-
what it is.
He's got the front kick, and then the one in the one in
Spinning
the gut.
back,
Yeah.
spinning back
Yeah,
kick.
spinning
to the
back.
He's
gut.
got very few kicks.
Stabbed.
Yeah.
It's just
McGregor really
it's a
has that
striking.
left hand, and
Right.
that's the one that
add
gets you
those
down.
striking plus the kickboxing part
Yeah.
of it, and Stylebender's kickboxing.
Yeah.
You could tell his levels above the other ones,
Yeah.
above the competitors. So and then
Stylebender is
he's
really-
just
Well, we
got
can't forget that this
such
is
a
MMA.
good personality.
Right.
Though. He's got star written
Who
all
would
over.
you
Stylebender is a star.
Who
yes.
would you not match Stylebender up against next? If you were building
At
him as a star,
185?
who do you think is
Ooh,
his
that's a fucking
who do you
good
think
question.
is his kryptonite at
It
185?
has to be a complete wrestler. Go.
Chris Weidman.
No,
It would be between Weidman and
I don't think
Rockhold.
it'll be Weidman
I
either.
think Rock.
That would be the biggest
I
test.
think-
One
I
of
think
those two.
Rockhold would be
I
an
think
exciting
Rockhold
fight.
is the one you do not match him up against.
Well, Rockhold to me is the greatest middleweight of all time, but for some particular reason, he got knocked out by Bisping. I mean,
he
you get
keeps doing
it's
photos.
MMA, you get caught, but he is to me, he's the one of the greatest middleweights of all time.
Yo, but I think he really took him lightly because he was like, dude, I faced.
So
Bisping.
then, what do you
I
say about
faced
the
Bisping
Romero
before.
one? I mean,
faced Bisping before. I clowned him.
Yeah.
I hit him with a head kick, and then I one arm fucking guillotine choked him.
right.
yeah.
Stop him
Like,
with
he
one
was
arm.
like, "There's no way this guy's."
Yeah,
gonna
but the
beat me."
problem
and then he
with
got,
that
and then he
is-
got caught, and it was too late.
And then he
It was-
fights Romero, and you all got him good. I mean, Rockhold was winning the fight at that point.
I'm
But
gonna quote Denzel right now from Remember the Titans.
Remember?
Cheetah, cheetah. Let the boys play. I'm sorry, but fucking Romero, make weight. Do it.
Yeah, fuck. Man.
He didn't make weight against Rockhold.
He didn't, but you all.
And what is
A
the
special
what is
fighter,
the
though.
record of fighters that do not make weight that end up winning?
It's
It's
undefeated.
insane.
It's
It's
undefeated.
not. It's not
one per-
undefeated.
There's like one person. I think
that
it's
lost,
one person.
and it was
Oh, yeah.
Romero against Whitaker.
Yeah, that's actually is the one.
Romero needs to make
I'm
weight.
pretty
They
sure
need to
this-
force him
So
to
how do
go
you feel about
205.
Sajara Eubanks then?
Oh my gosh, he's terrible.
Don't get me
dude.
started on Sajara.
Don't start
Why
with
are we
that.
talking about
I
it?
talked
Don't start with that, bro.
I talked about it.
Don't start with that, dude.
I talked about this with.
So let's
Pauly.
just finish up on
I
Stop.
talked about this with Pauly on the subway right over here. I was like, you
Eubanks.
put Sajara Eubanks, girl who can't make weight, up against Mackenzie Dern, girl who can't make weight, and one of them's got to go. out of the UFC.
I mean,
You-
Dern's
you
gonna get
Loser leaves.
Or I
the
say we
UFC.
Dern's ground
just keep
game and
Mackenzie Dern.
Dern's ground. You might not be a fan, but her ground game is just so far. I mean, George Eubanks is a black belt jiu-jitsu fighter, by the way. But
She
Dern's
does not show it
Dern's-
in her fights.
Dern's
at all.
ground game. But let's just finish up on Stylebender. So the guy's got all the trimmings on him. Star, keep your eye on him. I've been high on the guy since his first fight. When I saw the first fight,
Undefeated.
That man,
Undefeated.
he's a star. That man is a star.
So-
he
Right.
knows how to play the game.
let's talk about the man of the night. I think.
He
um,
is the man of the night.
No, well, besides him, I think Daniel Cormier in New York City, in MSG, he wanted it. You know, Derek Lewis, let's not take anything away from Derek Lewis. One punch knockout power. One punch knockout power. Undeniable.
But to put it best, Daniel Cormier did.
DC
And
just.
DC said, if you have a one chance to knock me out, if that's your only thing that's coming out, you have no chance at all.
So, Argenis.
Not against DC.
Argenis laughed on me when I said DC's gonna ragdoll this man.
I
And
the
I said
same
first
thing.
round.
I said
My brother said the same thing.
when this fight happened, I said this is a terrible fight.
For
He has nothing for Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is going to eat. Like there was nothing that he could do to Daniel Cormier that Daniel Cormier hasn't. Daniel Cormier is not stupid. He's not gonna fall for any
he
trick.
has seen it all done.
He's seen it all, done it all, man. This guy's 39 years old.
So
He's done everything, bro.
DC did exactly what we thought he would do. I don't think Lewis got a solid punch in.
No,
DC took
he
him
wasn't
down.
going to. It's Daniel Cormier.
The elite wrestling, you saw it on display, full blown. I know Rob.
I
loved
gotta
that fight.
I gotta disagree with Benny though. He said he had nothing for Daniel Cormier.
No, DC said that.
No,
DC
DC said if you have a puncher's chance, you have no chance against.
He's
him.
right about that. I'll never
And-
disagree
and
with
I
Daniel Cormier.
agree.
So-
I agree
but-
100,000%.
But here's what Derek Lewis did have for DC, and that's pay-per-view numbers.
right.
Oh wait,
That's pay-per-view numbers.
So I'm dying to see the
Lewis
numbers.
came off of the
Right.
biggest UFC pay-per-view of all time,
he was coming out
and
hot.
gained half a
One of the-
million followers.
Right.
One of the biggest fights too on that card.
Yeah,
Because DC, I'm sorry, Lewis was losing that fight
And
by far.
oh yeah, I'm just
And
saying.
then just last minute, that bomb dropped, so it kept the intrigue.
DC.
And the post-fight interview made
They're
him,
good. And
made
the-
him
my
a
balls.
casual
Right.
star.
How good
Made
was
him a
DC
casual
kissing Joe
star.
Rogan though?
And when you got DC, who went for history, he went for history to be the double champ.
And you talked about it.
And
Against
what did it get him? It got him 300,000 pay-per-view.
That's
buys.
why I want to
That-
see some numbers. I
That's
want
why
to see if
DC has put in the work. He's been a company man. He does Fox.
But
he does the
the
fights.
gate numbers are in.
and-
I'm gonna look it up right now. The gate numbers are in.
He
It did not
deserves-
do that well as far as gate numbers wise.
and I'm sure
It's like
paper-
2.6 million at the gate. So I'm gonna look it up.
He deserves money fights. He deserves.
I just want to know the pay per view.
He deserves everything.
He
He
deserves-
deserves all the money, everything. But the thing is, like,
Cheers to
he's
that.
not fucking. He's not marketable, bro.
DC's not marketable.
No.
No, yes, he is.
DC's not marketable.
DC has become the best
DC
post-fight interviewer in the game. That's one. DC knows the game, knows how to break down a fight. He's one of the best guys to have on the broadcast. He knows the sport in and out.
Well, he
if
knows.
you don't like
So
DC,
it was-
you're
it was-
an asshole.
I fucking
You're-
love DC,
if you
bro.
don't like DC, you're a fucking
I
asshole.
love
so at the
DC.
Garden,
There's
it
a lot
was
of guys in the Garden.
seven-
DC.
17,000.
And they're all New York
But
assholes.
no, here's the thing about all that, bro.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are not UFC fans that they just see fucking
The casual.
the
MMA.
casual
I don't worry
MMA
about
fans.
casuals. I don't really worry.
You don't worry about casual
I
fans.
don't. I honestly
but
don't.
UFC worries
They
about
need-
that, bro.
they need those casual
that.
fans.
They need
Those
those
casuals
casual
come around
fans.
when McGregor comes around.
But they need those casual
So
fans.
let me give
to
you
come
numbers
around,
on
dude.
DC's fight
You
against
need
Lewis.
you need to pick up some fan base.
Yeah.
17,000 in attendance, 17,011 in attendance, and I said 2.6. I was close. It was 2.8 million at the gate, but that doesn't compare
not
to
a big
205. It doesn't compare to 205 or even the GSP fight card. This is the third fight. When it came out, the problem was Dana lost a couple fights because that Poirier Diaz fight was a big fight for people.
This
And he ended up losing
this
it.
New York card though was a train wreck, almost from the jump.
It was a
from
train
Jump
wreck,
Street.
but the
Like-
actual card wasn't that bad. There was a lot of good fights.
No, it was a great card. It was very
A lot
entertaining.
of good fights.
You know, I left the feeling of the card crushed because I'm a fucking Weidman fanboy.
And Diaz was about to fight.
But either way, the Diaz
was
the
supposed
Diaz
to
fight from day one should have been set
should've-
as the
yeah,
headliner, so
should've
it was
been
5
the
rounds.
headliner.
If I'm the Diaz brothers, if I'm either one of them, I don't agree to shit unless I'm the headliner, because neither
Their
one,
next fight's gonna
neither
make
one
money.
of them should
Either
ever,
one.
neither one of them should ever fight a 3-round fight in their life, because it
I
doesn't
wouldn't want to
benefit
watch
them.
that shit.
It doesn't benefit them. They could beat. Look at their record and how many 3-round fights they've lost. Their cardio, they could outlast anybody. You take any of those 3-round decisions and make them 5-round decisions, and they probably drown their opponent
And
underwater.
they're more entertaining. They're better speakers, and they're more entertaining
I
than
don't know
any
about better
other
speakers with
fucking
Nate
fighter.
Diaz, but
But-
he is an entertaining fighter.
Nate Diaz
He's
is
a man of
he's a
limited
nigga. He's not a good speaker
Right.
at all.
He's a-
so he
he's a
cannot
man
talk
of
you
limited
onto the
words.
table.
He's very
Let me
intriguing.
explain. Nate or Nick is gonna make a ton of money for the UFC. So they gotta be co-main or main.
You know what's gonna make a ton of money? When Askren finally gets
So-
Nick to the table.
Wait.
And they
Let-
do
Oh,
that
wait,
shit.
wait, wait, wait,
Askren
Shit.
will drown
So
Nick.
let me just get to our
Wait,
next
can I
argument.
finish this one?
Wait, no.
All right.
When's
No,
the
no,
last
no,
time
no.
Nick Diaz won a fight?
Oh shit.
Oh,
Let me just get to my next argument.
Was it this decade?
So we were talking about DC. Daniel Cormier just defended the light heavyweight strap
The GOAT.
this year.
The only double champ that defended.
He's got
his
3 fights this
belts.
year.
John
He's
Jones.
3-0 this year. He fought at 205 and at heavyweight. Defended both belts. The first double champ to defend both belts.
I just said that.
He defended.
He's only lost to John Jones twice. This is the GOAT argument. So in MMA, we have Cormier, we have John Jones,
John Jones.
we have Demetrius Johnson, we have GSP, and I think McGregor would be the last
No,
piece
he's
of
not
that.
even.
No,
he's
he's
not.
not.
He's
He's
not even
close.
close. God,
McGregor's
no.
not.
I don't know how I like you so much when I
Oh,
disagree.
yeah.
I don't even know why we're
Like,
talking this.
Let me press the brakes.
out of-
Dude, what
Out of-
about fucking?
I'll give you my
Out
argument
of
on
all
him.
the people I like in this earth, like
I'll
I
give you
disagree with you the most, and I like you so much.
So
and I just like
It's because of
the
that.
Brazilian guy that fucking
Anderson
fought-
Silva.
Anderson Silva, it has to be
Stop.
there.
And Anderson is in that conversation. I'll give my McGregor argument afterwards.
What the
But-
fuck?
For sake of argument, there's only 3 men in this conversation.
okay. Go
Is Mighty Mouse, is DC, and is John Jones.
no.
Anderson
And
Silva.
GSP
God,
would
no.
be the other one.
Anderson Silva, GSP.
Silva, I'm sorry, Silva's out of it.
How was
Yeah,
Anderson
Silva's
Silva
out
out
of
of
it.
it?
You think Silva's still in it? In this conversation?
No.
No.
I don't think Silva was ever in the
So
conversation.
you think it's just DC, GSP, and John Jones? Those 3.
No,
You don't think John Jones is in the
I don't think
conversation?
John Jones is.
Because of
Oh my.
well, that's
God.
just how you feel about steroids.
You take yourself out of the conversation for GOAT when you pop.
But earlier you said Manny Ramirez is one of the greatest baseball players of all time, and he's the only player to
I said
be
he's the
popped
greatest talent.
twice.
He's the greatest talent.
So that,
No,
is
and-
that what John Jones is
And
to
when
the UFC?
yes, John Jones is the greatest talent the UFC has ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
The man's
But-
never lost in my book.
In my opinion, too.
He's
Same.
never lost.
Same. He's never lost. But you take
Never will
yourself out of the running for greatest of all time when you when you pop positive.
So
And baseball,
let's just make
baseball's
this
a little
John
bit.
Jones.
Baseball's a little bit of a different story because Barry Bonds. I think Barry Bonds is
the greatest of all time.
greatest
He
player,
is-
baseball player of all
hands
time,
down.
and he was going to be
Hands down.
he was going to be the greatest baseball player of all
Hands
time
down.
Before the
steroids. He is a victim of the steroids era.
Yes,
He's
he
a
is.
victim because he saw Sammy Sosa, he
And
saw Mark
McGwire.
McGwire get money off of being way less than him. And he's
Yeah.
like, and he's sitting there in
He's like,
Pittsburgh.
come on,
he's like,
you gotta
come
be
on.
kidding me.
You
Not
You're
only-
not gonna do anything about this. I'm gonna fucking do it too,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna show you how real of a monster
Yeah,
I could be
exactly.
if you give me steroids.
But not only that, not only they were taking, but a lot of
a lot
other
of the other players
players
were
were
also
taking,
on.
Fine.
and they were doing
Fine.
nothing
So,
with it. But
Fine.
no, they were
But-
taking steroids
But
and doing nothing.
if I
And
had it my way, I'd say
pre-USADA
juice up,
MMA,
juice
everybody
up
was juicing
every-
up, so-
juice up every baseball player ever because the sport is boring without it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But fighters,
They saved
different
baseball.
fighters. Since the
when
guy's
you-
life
when
is
you-
on the line.
when you have the ability to juice up
And to kill
then
someone.
hit somebody harder, fuck that. You're a dirtbag. You're an absolute dirtbag.
So, John
Anderson
Jones-
Silva took himself out of the conversation. John Jones took himself out of the conversation. It's GSP. It's DC.
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse. The only,
competition
The thing I
thing is
never
bad.
had. The thing that always irked me about Mighty Mouse is that I could never get that Dominic Cruz loss out of my mouth. Like that taste.
But that
I
was at
just like,
135.
I
though.
understand that, but he had so many opportunities to go back to 135, and he declined all of them because he was chasing Anderson Silva's record. If he would have stepped up and took the 135 fights
I
that they wanted him to take, he
So
would have
let's
been a
talk
bigger
about-
draw. He would have been the greatest of all time
Let's
if
talk
he
about
succeeded in them.
Demetrius real
But-
quick.
But right now, greatest of all time.
And he just got traded.
What's
So
the
let's
great-
talk
who's the
about.
greatest?
Wait,
So he-
stop.
hands down,
Let's
man.
talk about Demetrius real quick.
Okay.
I feel like, honestly, you look at the record, you look at what he did in the UFC. Granted, the problem is, UFC fans, we talked about this. 125 division is not the division to have a main
Exactly.
event.
Y'all know
But
how I feel about the 125
As a
division.
fighter, Demetrius Johnson is as complete as it gets.
Yes, I was just always disappointed with his inability to step up to a real challenge, which was the 135 division.
And
If-
the
what I
Dillashaw
want-
fight to
what
me
I
would
want-
have
what I-
vindicated that.
What I want in my GOAT is I want a guy who, when he loses, all he's thinking about is getting that loss back. You know,
McGregor.
like early on in the heyday, in you know when MMA was blowing up, Chuck Liddell, he had them give him a fight against Jeremy Horn, who didn't deserve a title fight at all. But he was like, I lost to this dude.
I need that
I
L
need that
back."
loss back.
Yeah.
I need that loss back. I need, you know, Mighty Mouse at any time could have gotten that Cruz fight, and he chose not to. He chose to fight the other guys.
Yeah.
And look,
So
in my
you're saying-
opinion, when it comes to GOAT, when you remove the guys who pop positive, you got
You have no one left.
you got
No,
D-
he has
you got,
GSP and he has DC.
You got DC,
And-
you got GSP, you got
and I said
Tyron Woodley.
McGregor. Oh, you want
Tyron
to
Woodley.
Woodley. I don't
Tyron-
think Woodley's there yet. I don't think he's there yet.
Well, if you're gonna add
When-
McGregor, you gotta fucking.
But he just said what you want. What
McGregor's
you want
not-
in a GOAT is wanting that fight back.
Yes.
He tapped out to Nate. First of all, when he fought
So,
first fought
Woodley
Nate.
will
Hold on,
fight
wait,
anybody, bro.
stop. He would. Hold on a second. We're talking about McGregor. The reason why I say McGregor is, guess what? Let's look at how much Derek Lewis made this fight. It ain't because he's fighting DC.
We're not talking about
We're not
more
talking about the-
entertaining fighter, dude.
He elevated the
You're not
sport.
talking about
Wait,
most
hold on.
entertaining
He
fighter.
elevated both divisions and he elevated
You're
the
not
sport.
talking about more
I'm
most
talking.
entertaining
Yeah,
fighter.
he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
You're
He's
not-
one of.
no,
he's
he's
in
not.
that conversation. He fought Diaz,
No.
lost to Diaz, got choked out. He was like, "Guess what, Dana? I'm not doing any media obligations. I'm gonna train to fight Nate."
You can't.
And had one of the greatest.
But you're
Hold-
not
wait.
saying
You're not letting me finish my point.
Oh shit!
He fought Nate Diaz in one of the greatest fights in MMA history of all time.
Yeah.
That doesn't
And
make
Conor
it the
Diaz
best
too.
fight.
Conor Diaz too.
100%, yeah.
But that
So
doesn't
that's
make you
what
the
you
GOAT.
want from your GOAT.
Doesn't
But that doesn't make you the
Hold
GOAT.
on.
It doesn't make you a GOAT.
Let
make
me.
you
I'm
a
not still not done with my argument.
What that mean? Greatest
Stop.
of
I'm
all
not
time.
impressed.
Still not done with my argument. Knocked out Aldo 14 seconds, had a belt, lost to
That was
Nate.
before Nate.
Let me finish with my fucking argument.
Let it go.
He knocked out Aldo 14 seconds, got a belt. Boom. He's like, I want to fight 155 next. This guy hurt himself. He lost to Nate. He's like, you know what, Dana? I want Nate back. Let's run that back. The biggest gate, hold on. The biggest gate up until 229 was him and Nate too. He's like, I want Nate back. I don't want the media obligation. One of the greatest fights of all time. Guys forget, 5 weeks later, with a fucked up leg, I'll fight Eddie Alvarez. Knocked out Eddie Alvarez. First two-time champ in 2 divisions at the same time. Then he's like, you know what? I'm going to fight Mayweather. Went 10 rounds with Mayweather. When people thought he wasn't going to be like washed immediately. Made all this money. Elevated the sport itself. Decides to come back after 2016, 2018. 2 years. Never been in an octagon. He's like, you know what? 155. That's the belt I had. Guess who I want to fight? I want Khabib. Undefeated Sambo wrestler. The style that could defeat him. He said, you know what? He could have hesitated. He could have hesitated and said no. Agree with me.
Then what happened?
When I was, listen. First of all, I was shocked that he took the fight.
We all
it
know.
was the first. It
All
was
the
the
shit
worst
that you're
fight.
saying,
Stop.
we
but
already know it.
let me finish.
Okay.
The
How-
reason
how
where
long
we
do we
are
have
right
to
now.
go before we
Let him
get-
finish,
The
let him
reason
finish.
where we are right now, and we're having this show, and there's many shows, is because he brought eyeballs to the sport that weren't there.
That doesn't
So
mean-
he's gotta. I'm just saying he's gotta be in the conversation.
No.
Yes, he does. Realistically, to me, in my opinion, there's only 3 guys. Even though Rob's gonna disagree, GSP there, John Jones there, and DC is there. Those are the 3 guys. But McGregor has to be in the conversation because he revolutionized the sport. Fighters are getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid, and you know what? The guy, he sticks up for his fellow fighters.
100%.
here's-
He remade
He
the
changed
sport.
the
He
game.
changed
Here's
the
why-
game.
here's why you're-
100%. But you can't say, what's his name, Muhammad Ali. If Muhammad Ali was just he wasn't the
Ali
best.
lost to a bunch of guys that weren't that good enough, by the way, too.
Ali did, but Ali at his time, at his prime, was
If
the
Ali
best
never
fighter.
went to jail, Ali would have never lost.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
But
We can't get that back.
here's
Yeah, but here's the
So
thing.
here's
Ali-
I dare to say
rebuttal. Here's-
McGregor lost because he lost 2 years being in MMA. You cannot stop in MMA. First of all,
Here's my
no,
rebuttal.
in MMA you
All right,
cannot
what's his
take
rebuttal?
years
Let
off.
him
You
speak.
can't
Let
take
him
time
speak.
off.
My
Alright.
simple
The Mayweather fight fucked McGregor up.
Oh,
He
man.
was the one of the most. Rob, wasn't he the most active
Can
fighter?
I
at
speak?
But just answer this question.
Can I live?
At that point, wasn't McGregor one of the most active fighters at the time?
Yes.
Wasn't he taking on fights? He would never pull out. So I think him taking the boxing fight and taking time off of MMA threw him back a little bit. And now that's why he's like, I'm willing to take any fight that comes on.
I don't think me and you disagree with McGregor's importance to the sport.
Yeah.
With his talent, with his fucking balls
Yeah.
to take a challenge, no matter what people say he can't. You say he can't do something, he says I'm gonna fucking go do it. But I think we disagree on our definition of the GOAT, greatest of all time. He's not right now in the conversation for greatest of all time, but he is the most valuable of all time to the sport of MMA.
So he's the
Well,
no doubt.
The MVP.
I guess that's
not
my point.
the GOAT.
He's the
I guess that's my
MVP.
point.
But that's a different conversation.
He's the
I guess that's my point.
GOAT. He's
Yeah.
the most valuable of all time. He's the GOAT.
And the thing,
From the 3 that we have, though.
But here's
what?
when I'm talking about GOAT, I'm talking about guys you just
He's talking
you
about
just
fighters.
cannot fucking
You're
beat
talking
if you.
about fighters.
I
Jones
want
is the
I
one.
want to know the one that could beat him, and I'm
John Jones.
John Jones.
John Jones.
Who's the one?
John Jones, you take
who's
yourself
the one?
out of the conversation when you pop positive. And
Forget about that. You just said who's the one that could beat. Who's gonna beat John Jones?
I
Tell
don't
me.
give a shit who's gonna beat John.
The
Jones.
only fight I'm
Because-
interested in seeing
because-
is DC and Jones.
because there's
at
just been
heavyweight.
so many, other than the two positive tests. John Jones, there's been rumors about him, and dodging drug tests and all that shit
Right.
for years.
DC and Jones
Look,
is
I don't-
the rivalry.
I don't take a lot of credit in anything Chael Sonnen says, but looking back on it now, can you not see that John Jones might have hit under the octagon at
For
Jackson
hours,
Littlejohn for
right.
oxygen for the drug testers to leave
Yeah.
the gym? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. So since I don't know, I'm not putting him in the conversation. I'm talking
So
about
is GSP and DC
I'm
to
talking
you?
about DC, GSP, Tyron Woodley,
Woodley's not in the conversation.
Khabib.
Not yet.
Khabib's
not in the conversation.
How
Not in the conversation. Neither is Woodley. This is
you
my.
can't say
Whoa.
McGregor's
Look
in it, but then Khabib's in
You
it.
can't
Look
say
at McGregor's resume. Look at Khabib. Who's Khabib beat besides
Conor
He
McGregor,
beat
the guy
Conor
you said he's
McGregor.
supposed to be in the GOAT.
Stop.
How do you say he's a GOAT and then he lost to Khabib?
Stop.
TJ Dillashaw. Let me get out that
Stop.
final one. TJ Dillashaw.
Dillashaw, I'm with you.
He beat TJ.
Let me say one thing.
Stop.
No, I'm just-
Stop
Let me say one
with
thing.
the
Let me say one
Khabib
thing.
shit.
Time
First
out,
of all,
time out.
Khabib
It's-
he beat two
It has
guys
nothing to
in
do
my
with
book.
It has nothing to do with
He beat
Khabib.
McGregor and maybe Barbosa.
Those are my
Alright,
top
let me
five.
say
But then he's got a bunch of Russians that
Why'd
he
you say
beat
maybe
to beat
Barbosa?
17-1.
Why did he
17-0.
say maybe
He
Barbosa?
destroyed Barbosa.
Why did he say maybe Barbosa?
Because Barbosa's resume is not up there in that. He's
Barbosa's
got that.
Because he destroyed
Khabib's
Barbosa.
biggest win in his life was McGregor. Period.
Yeah.
You look at Conor's resume, he's got bodies on it.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't mention Khabib to me. Woodley, I said not there yet because Woodley, I believe, is a legacy fight away.
How long has Woodley been calling out GSP?
That's,
Why won't he answer? Why won't he answer the call?
That's GSP.
Why won't he answer the call?
Because
he
I-
takes the
That's-
Bisping fight and he doesn't take the
I
Tyron
think that's
Woodley fight.
GSP's
He's
fight.
Scared.
I think
He's
that's GSP's
scared.
fight. I think that's a fight for Woodley, and I think it's for GSP. I
Who
think
wins?
GSP, in his mind, he knows I'm gonna have trouble with this
Who
guy.
wins, Tyron Woodley?
I have
or Johnny
no
Hendricks?
clue. I
Who
would-
wins, Tyron Woodley or Johnny Hendricks?
Woodley.
Easy,
Woodley.
right?
Woodley.
Who won, Johnny Hendricks or GSP? Who won that fight? Answer me.
I don't want to argue with you. I honestly feel like at this point in time,
MMA math is real.
GSP.
MMA
I
man.
think at this point
MMA
GSP
man.
knows the most
GSP
difficult
knows
fight for
risk
him.
and reward.
thing is
That's
that-
why he's like, I'm willing to take on this fight. I want to take on, but Woodley,
Anybody
he
but
won't
Woodley.
answer the Woodley fight.
But why are we even talking about GSP? He hasn't fought in years, and then the time he fought in
You know what?
was
Because he took 4 years
My-
off. And
my-
he won
my
another
So
number-
why
fight.
are we
He
talking
won
about
another
GSP
fight.
then?
My number 6, and this is gonna piss you off. Askren.
Does anybody off? I like.
Undefeated.
I like Ben.
Let's
I like
talk
Ben
about
Askren.
Ben Askren.
I like Ben Askren.
Undefeated.
So the argument for the GOAT
The
is still
funky
up in
one.
the air.
Yo, you
Your
can't.
argument is up in the air.
I
don't
changed
understand
my
what your
shit
argument
because
is.
you can't.
No,
put
I
GSP in
honestly
there.
think it's two of them. I think it literally is between GSP and DC.
I think you can't put GSP if you're not
Why
gonna
not?
put fucking Tyron Woodley.
GSP's the double
Woodley
champ.
cannot be in there.
GSP's the double champ.
GSP's
First double champ.
I think DC is the legit double champ.
No, I
That's
thought he was,
one. Hold on. I'm gonna make two statements.
Connor beat.
Connor is the double
Connor
champ.
beat.
He's
Eddie
a double
before-
champ.
No.
But
No.
I think DC defending
I
both
thought it was
belts.
BJ Penn was the first double champ.
No, he was not.
BJ.
No.
No, not
It's
at the
been a
same
couple
time.
guys.
Not at the same
Not
time.
at the same time. Only Connor and DC have done
And
it.
to be honest, DC, GSP was never the double champ
He
because
wasn't.
No.
he lost to Hendricks.
Yeah, so
Los Angeles.
my opinion is this. It's only been DC and Connor to do it, but DC defended both belts, so
He did
that
not defend
elevates.
both belts.
Yes, he did.
He defended one belt and then he won the other and then he
Won the
defended
light
that
belt.
belt. He didn't. He hasn't.
He got
yet-
a vacant belt, but he actually the problem was
won
the
the
John
vacant
Jones
belt.
thing.
All right, technically he has defended both the light
Belts.
heavyweight
In
belts,
this- yes.
but not since he's had both. He
Yeah,
has
alright,
not.
so-
He has not he
But on the
defended the
books,
heavyweight
Rob,
belt, but me and you both know. Everybody knows He's never going back to 205.
He's not
Yeah,
going
he's
back.
not
But
going
Rob, he did. So he popped positive.
I love
He popped positive.
I love DC.
He lost the fight.
I love
he
DC.
popped positive.
He's one of my
Dana
heroes.
gives him the belt. He
I
defends the belt. And DC said it himself, I didn't feel like the champion when Dana gave it back to me. But he won the fight against Vulcan. So at that point, you got to give it to him.
My thing though is with if you say somebody defended both belts, they have to have defended both belts since they've had both belts. So yes, he defended the belt against Vulcan.
In the books, he has.
And then he beat Stipe. So from that time period,
And then he beat
in my
Lewis
opinion,
to
he
defend
has
the heavyweight.
Yes, but now he has to defend the light heavyweight
Which
belt.
he won't.
He won't.
He won't.
He
He
won't
won't.
ever go
He
back
won't.
down.
By the way,
Because,
DC should have been a
look.
heavyweight his whole career.
All
But
right,
Kane
let's
changed
continue.
it.
Let's
I mean-
continue.
I
Let's
mean-
continue.
Yeah, I mean.
So in the UFC, the first ever trade happened. So the UFC gave up on the 125 division,
thank
and-
God.
and Rob called it in the second episode of this show, and they traded away Demetrius Johnson to one, and then one, by the way, was now Michite's the vice president, and they've also picked up Sage Northcutt and Eddie Alvarez at the same time.
And Rich Franklin.
So they're
Right?
they're
It's
building
exciting,
their brand.
frankly.
They're trying to build their shit.
They're building the brand. So and Dana wants to get rid of 125. So now we have Ben Askren, and the 165 pops up again.
I want to say this because I've been critical of Demetrius Johnson never stepping up to 135, but
Yeah.
all fucking power to him. Go get your money. You deserve it at 125.
And not only that,
Go get your Xbox sponsorships. Go get everything you
one's
deserve.
doing an
for that.
esports team, and he's the
And
captain
his,
of that.
and his coach is an executive of that company.
Yeah.
So
Don't forget that. Hume,
I
Matt
think-
Hume is an executive at ONE FC.
So
you
let's
don't think
talk-
he's getting paid? He's getting fucking paid.
One Sports, it's UFC, and then a notch under is Bellator, and then there's one there. But I think one might hop Bellator if they keep signing away some of those free agents from UFC.
I mean, one FC is simple. It's we're gonna put on good fights. We're gonna have guys. They're not gonna talk trash. Ben Askren was never really a fit for them, but he's a perfect fit for the UFC. He could talk so much shit.
So you just
He
mentioned
could-
something I want
He
to talk
could
about.
talk so much shit, and you could sell any fucking fight with him because he's his style's boring. You know what? It is boring, but you know what? He gets on top of you, he smothers you, and then he gets on the mic and he tells you how he took away your manhood because you couldn't get up.
Right.
You
He makes
could
up
not
for it.
get
That-
up.
yeah, makes up for
I
that,
right.
made you helpless.
That's
So
what Khabib
my-
can't do. He
My
can't
point.
speak.
My point is this, right? People were talking about Khabib jumping over the fence and how Conor took it over the line, but DC and Stipe didn't make money. Guess what? They liked each other. Cerrone, who's gonna fight this weekend against Mike Perry, they like each other. This weekend, DC and Derek Lewis, they like each other. And people were saying, "Oh, there's too much trash talking. That's what makes all those things happen." I can't watch a fight like that. I need a little heat.
You need
I
action.
think DC Jones, I think Nate Connor, I think those are the fights that capture you because there's legit beef between the fighters. So this world where I'm fighting Pauly, I love Pauly.
Me
He's a
and
great
Paul
martial
are
artist. But on Saturday we'll see who's better. I think that don't
It's
sell
not
fights. It's not good for the business.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, it's
That's
not.
not good for the business. You know
Good.
what
A
is
lot
good for
of
the
women,
business?
a lot of women fighters do that, and that's the
That's
problem.
one of the
You know
problems.
what is good for the business?
What?
Well,
Askren versus Khabib for the 165 belt.
ooh,
And then
But
you got
Khabib
and
won't
then you
fall
got
back to
and then you got the Mighty Duck Bash brothers in Tyron and Askren.
And Askren.
Come at me.
Oh,
we got
damn.
both belts. We ain't ever gonna fight each other, but we'll fight everybody.
that would be
Anybody.
Good. That would be good.
I'll tell you.
You come to 165, you try Askren. You
Askren's-
come to 175, you tried Tyron.
Askren's most
What up?
intriguing fight.
What
is-
up?
is
Missouri wrestling. Get at us. Come on.
That'd be fucking
Askren's
good,
most
bro.
intriguing fight to watch stylistically is
And then-
Woodley.
then you
Dude,
know,
but Askren hasn't fought anybody like serious in the last his whole career.
Askren has never had the opportunity to fight somebody serious.
Yes,
but
Askren has wanted to fight anybody and everybody who had a name since day one.
But
well,
can
Robbie
that be a
Lawler
problem,
will be first.
dude? But can that be a problem?
I don't think so. Name somebody who.
Hasn't been training for people that this tough. He hasn't seen the type of fucking abilities.
He hasn't trained with Tyron.
He's been training with fucking great fighters.
The greatest, one of the greatest.
One of the greatest of all time.
Training and fighting is true.
But training and training and fighting is.
Give him the opportunity. Give him the opportunity.
Well, we'll find out when he fights.
We're about to
let him go through his hit list, and by the end of it, maybe we're talking about him as one of the greatest.
We are about to find out what this guy is about.
Everybody in the division.
Yeah, but we don't know what this guy's about. We are about to find out what he's about.
You know what?
Yeah, because this is
You know
going to be
what
the
he's about?
stiffest level
You know
of
what he's
competition
about?
he's ever faced.
I respect it. He's about calling out everybody, and at the same time, he's staying loyal to his number one, Tyron.
Yeah.
They're college teammates. He's trained Tyron. He's not gonna fight somebody who he's trained. It's
sort of like DC and Kane.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like DC and Kane.
Exactly like DC and Kane. And that brings me to my next point. You all know I hate fucking fake ass wrestling, but DC made it clear that he's interested in WWE, and you know that Kane has been trying out for
So
the WWE.
I'm gonna look at the camera at this point.
They're gonna be the tag team monsters
My goal of this show is to get Rob to talk about WWE as if it was serious.
And it ain't ever gonna be serious.
And if DC and Kane were tag team champions, would you watch? Would you watch if DC and Kane were in the WWE?
And they're gonna be in their singlets.
I'd
just say
if
you wouldn't watch it.
I'd watch it illegally. I would not pay for it because it's scripted and I could watch it the next day and it's the same ass thing.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
But when DC got on that mic and he told Brock Lesnar to bring his fake ass
belt, that was pure
fake
gold.
Ass belt.
That's why I say
he wants
DC
to be a fake ass champion on top of his double champion belt. I'm taking.
He said he wanted all the belts.
Artistic liberty with
he
what
said he wanted all the belts.
But there, yeah. He said he wanted all the belts, the real belts, the fake belts, all the belts. I want everything. I want,
But he really wants to beat
does.
John Jones. Deep down inside,
it's
that John Jones that he needs to be John Jones.
And I just want to say this though, during the press conference.
Quick question.
And I feel like he will in heavyweight.
And I think that's the legit question. DC's undefeated. Heavyweight, DC's a different fighter.
Yeah, he's a
completely different fighter.
The weight that he's going to put on you when he's got you on the ground and the power he has at heavyweight is completely different from 205.
Yes.
No.
So, John, I don't think...
Has
John ever been up there?
No.
And
he kind of has always refused to go up there.
So
they've wanted him to go up to heavyweight forever.
I mean, it's a different animal. I mean,
he just won't.
He's not going to have the same power.
No.
So, if it gets to that point, and if DC wins that fight...
You talk about balls.
Ultimately,
you talk about balls. DC and McGregor got the biggest balls in the company.
They do. They honestly
do. Yeah.
So,
I thought it was the champion.
You thought it was Derek.
That was our episode. Robbie Rob was back. We're always gracious to have him on the show. He's one of our regulars.
Thank you to Corona.
Robbie Rob is sponsored by
our sponsor, Corona.
Pauly B was here.
Corona Extra.
For some reason, Pauly B
today.
He likes to save his questions.
We didn't talk about his mustache.
So Pauly B's lost 2 bets. He paid one off already. He was going for Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis lost. He bought me a bottle of whiskey. He lost the Candy Crush bet to Benny.
I think everybody that watched
He's
that
growing
episode,
this beautiful mustache.
I think everybody that watched that.
And you know
episode
what? I
premium.
literally just want one family picture with you and the beard and.
I do.
I can't cut this till the end of the year, so
That's what I want. I want a couple of them.
He's gonna
So-
look like the sensei. Sensei.
Dude, it feels like there's like a
Wait,
caterpillar
Filipino
just
fact of the day.
sitting
Do you
right
have
on my
one
lip.
for us?
It looks like you killed
There's
a
like
fucking
something just
caterpillar
sitting
and
right
just taped them on.
Filipino
your
fact of
fucking-
the day. You have one for us?
I don't have one.
Yeah, you do. What's that fucking the thing that you like when you take a shit?
Oh, he's talking about a tabo. It's like a thing where you put in a bathroom, and every Filipino household has one.
What's that?
A
Like-
tabo.
It's like a little ladle where you just use to put water and you wash your ass. Well, after you
So
shit.
what do you do? They put it behind them.
There you
And
go.
there's a fucking tabo, a tabo, and they
A
fucking
tabo.
take that shit and they fill it up with water and they fucking wash with their ass with it.
Filipino fact of the day. So,
Filipino fact.
Get
bro.
yourself a tabo.
Pauly B, you got something to say?
Dude,
Get
I'm
yourself a
all
towel.
with that
Get
shit.
yourself a tabo. That's it.
Benny Banks.
Yo, get a tabo, bro.
Robbie
I'm down
Rob,
with that.
you got something to say before we...
Rob,
Up
wash
that
your
ass,
ass.
some up that ass.
DC's the GOAT.
I got some other shit to say. USA, USA, USA.
Thank you for joining
I knew
us.
I was gonna.
We'll see you next week.